Welcome back to Sword of the Month Club. I'm your host Justin, and I'm really excited that you've joined us here as we kick off the month of February. But before we jump into our newest Sword of the Month, let's break down how the channel works. Each Wednesday of the month, we're going to upload a fresh video featuring the Sword of the Month. Now, what is the Sword of the Month? That will be right here in this box. In the following 2 weeks, we're going to document our experience using the Sword of the Month, while on the fourth Wednesday of the month, we're going to upload our full month-long complete review and ranking it within the Sword of the Month Club collection. But since this is the first Wednesday of the month, let's get back to the box. This month's blade is the Surudoi Katana from Romance of Men, which was graciously provided to us for a review. It regularly retails on their website for $189, but as of the filming of this video, it's currently on sale for $155. Let's check it out. First impressions? This blade shape is rad. Let's get a closer look. Let's start with the saya. The blade seats well and has good retention. There's nothing really to talk about here. The koiguchi, which is the mouth of the saya into which the blade is inserted, is simple and marries up with the habaki cleanly. I feel like I should point out that the wood grain present here in the koiguchi is very pleasing to the eye, which is maybe a strange comment to make, but it's something that struck me with this particular saya. Don't judge me. The kurikata, which is the tie point on the saya, sits 10 centimeters from the koiguchi, which is pretty standard. As in our previous Romance of Men katana, there are shitodome present, but they're not secured in the kurikata, which is easy enough to fix with a tiny dab of glue if that's your preference. It's the same nice and easy customization at home from Romance of Men that we've seen on their other katanas. The sageo, which is the tying cord, arrives tied in the ronin masubi, or swordsman knot. The sageo and ito use the same shade of black, which is nice. In many cases, the ito and sageo come from different stock, sometimes resulting in a visual mismatch, but here the color match is perfect. The last thing I'm going to point out here is that, like with our last Romance of Men katana, there is no kojiri or ornamental piece at the blunt end of the saya. This is totally reasonable at the price point that we're seeing here with this katana. The absence of a kojiri is pretty standard until you start reaching much higher prices. The Suka appears to follow a Hachi profile, slightly tapered, not being just a straight cylinder. The Ito wrap is tight and even, with great symmetry in the very typical Hinari-Maki diamond pattern. It's done extremely well, and I have no concern about this slipping with use. I've heard some folks prefer to lacquer their ito, but I truly can't imagine this one slipping on me. Beneath the wrap, the Samigawa appears to be a synthetic race skin. For some people, this might either be a selling point for avoiding animal products or a point of contention because it's non-traditional. In my experience, there just isn't a performance difference between a katana with synthetic race skin versus authentic race skin. However, this may matter greatly to some people, and for what it's worth, I'm of the opinion that it matters very little. If you're going to be unhappy with using synthetic race skin, you should probably be equally unhappy about synthetic Ito and Sageo. Personally, I think these are just great. The Kashira, which is the pommel cap, appears to be brass and features an almost wood grain type design, and a tomo, which is this kind of kama design. There are some extremely minor molding lines from the casting, but really nothing egregious. The fitting is tightly held into the suka, and I love the brass coloration of the fittings here. The Manuki are actually triple tomo, and like our previous Romance of Men katana, maybe they're a bit small for my taste, but they match the same brass that's with the other fittings, which is great. The Fuchi features the same almost wood grain design as the Kashira, with the same brass coloration, and the suka is held together by a pair of twin bamboo makugi. The seppa are brass with a bright finish and contrast nicely with the suba. The suba features the same wood grain style design as found in the Kashira and Fuchi and features another tomo accent on either side. The mimi, which is the thickness of the suba, is 5.3 millimeters. The finish is once again the same brass as seen in the other fittings. It may be my inner steampunk nerd sitting in the back of my head, but I feel like I have to say brass is beautiful. The habaki is simple brass with an etched tomo and marries up well with the blade, and it pairs very nicely into the saya, providing great retention without being overly aggressive. The blade is hella sharp, and that should come as no surprise from anyone who has handled a Romance of Men katana before. It should be pointed out that this particular model is advertised as being their sharp model, and its name, Surudoi, literally means sharp. This blade is, in a word, rad. It features a double bowhai which terminates beneath the habaki. Now, as cool as having a double bowhai is, this isn't even the coolest feature here because that absolutely must be the false edge portion of the blade spine. This is called an onokubi zakuri geometry, which is less frequently seen in katanas and more likely to be seen in something like a polearm like a naginata. The pictures here from their website truly do not do it justice, as this is such a cool feature which you don't often see. This portion of the spine flares back out to support the tip, but you can imagine that it does wonders for shifting that balance of the blade back into the hand. This is easily my favorite visual feature of this sword. There's not really a Yokote to speak of, as the blade features a single pleasant edge grind throughout, which only serves to make the spine feature more prominent, which is great. The sori, or curvature of the blade, measures at 1.7 centimeters, which is pretty standard for modern katanas. The kasane, or spine thickness, is 7 millimeters, which is getting on the thicker side of the normal range. It does mean that it should easily have enough mass to cut extremely well. The motohaba, or blade width at the base, measures 31 millimeters, and the sakihaba, or width at the kasaki, is kind of hard to judge, not having a kasaki, but where I would estimate it to be, it would come in around 21 millimeters. There is also no hamon present in this blade, which is because it's a through-hardened blade. That might bother some people, but I'm far more used to European-style sword, which is the standard. Some folks might say that a katana without a hamon is strange, but I think it would only distract from the other visual features present in this particular katana's blade. The blade is forged from spring steel. I wish the website was a bit more specific on the carbon makeup, but that's all the information that was provided. For what it's worth, the other Romance of Men katanas that I've used in the past have had excellent edge retention. The balance is 12 centimeters from the suba, which brings it closer into the hand than the other Romance of Men katanas I've handled. The blade is 72.4 centimeters with an overall length of 100 centimeters. The weight is 963 grams, with the saya adding an additional 287 grams, bringing the total combined weight to 1,250 grams. We're extremely excited to put this katana into action, but first we need to address the name. Surudoi is an excellent name for a katana because the English translation means sharp, and this thing absolutely is. However, per tradition here on the club, we assign each one of our swords a working code name. It makes it easier for us to reference internally, easier to talk about on camera, and gives the blade a bit of personality. Since the Surudoi is essentially named sharp after its extremely keen edge, allow me to introduce you to Commander Keen, the ultra keen-edged Surudoi Katana from Romance of Men. We at Sword of the Month Club are going to dive immediately into work, putting Commander K through its paces, and if that sounds exciting to you, I hope that you're going to stab those like and subscribe buttons and stay sharp out there.